Hello viewers, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all today, wherever you are this evening in the world? Thank you for tuning in and the support of the channel. Okay, so the deliberate deception continues. Trump has been released or discharged himself and has gone back to the White House, leaving Walter Reed after that disastrous stunt that he pulled in the SUVs with the Secret Service, of course, potentially putting his Secret Service detail in danger. It hasn't gone down well anywhere. Wherever I've read, whatever coverage I've read, wherever I am on social media, he has been, particularly in the international press, really, or the international media, they took a dim view of what he did. It was a stunt, no more than that. His latest rantings on Twitter, of course, are more of the same. And again, he's not winning any points beyond his base. So the question, we'll look at the month ahead because I normally do that. I won't spend too much time on it because I also want to look at Biden. Thank you to those that have been resurrecting my monthly readings on Trump and also my last 6 monthly reading, which if I can, I will repost it or maybe send it through my community feed, because in that reading it showed the last couple of months as being disastrous for Trump. So it might be interesting to go back and have a look at that. The question, of course, is, is his recovery going to be smooth? And he's in the early phases of COVID. And, of course, now we move into that inflammatory stage. But, he had some politicking to do. The Trump family look upon being in hospital, being sick as weakness. And, of course, he had to, promulgate the myth that COVID is a hoax and, it's just like the flu. So, again, more of the deception, more of the negligence and more of the disregard and lack of compassion, feeling, empathy for over 200,000 people that have passed away in the US and those all across the world, families that are in mourning. It's just a tawdry, gaudy, unpleasant circus. It's not even a circus. I don't know what it is. It's probably the most. Yeah. I don't know how to describe it. I haven't got any words to describe what I'm seeing at the moment coming out of the US. Okay, now the reason that I'm jumping on today and doing this reading, even though I really don't want to read on Trump today, because I'm pretty disgusted with him and the whole mess, is that I had a dream last night about him. So with COVID, of course, you get a period of time, and I think it happened to Herman Cain too, where you feel well and then you move into the next phase of the illness. It can change very suddenly. However, I did a reading on Monday which showed that he probably will recover. And, he needs to be seen to recover because he needs those campaign donations. It also showed the potential for some kind of contractual relationship with his backers, and whoever those backers are, of course, is that Russia? I'll pose that question, that he actually had to get a second term. So I feel that there are very real, I guess, debts that he has to repay, and part of that is winning a second term, as well as stopping justice, which is definitely coming for him. Now we should not ever take our eyes off the prize, and that is that Biden and Harris will win the election, and Trump, of course, is disabled. His staff are going down like flies, one after the next after the next. Chris Christie has been hospitalised. We talked about that the other day. I do want to say also that my reading on Monday showed that somebody who had attended the Rose Garden event or who had come in contact with Trump, they're calling him the super spreader now, could very well transition and pass away. So I'll leave that at that there, but back to my dream about Trump last night. So I dreamt that Trump he appeared as though he was talking but what was coming out of his mouth was garbled. Now, I know you will all say, well, that's nothing new. This was like he'd had a stroke. It was like, I don't know if it was a metaphor for his messages are just falling on deaf ears, or if it is actually a sign that, that he may, while he might survive COVID, there could be some limitations there. I also got a pull to an existing illness of Trump, which COVID might complicate. So it was very, very, very vivid, very much in colour. And when I see all of those indications, I know that I need to pay attention to the dream. So what was coming out of his mouth was garbled words that nobody could understand. He thought they could understand, so he kept talking and acting like everybody could understand him, and of course they couldn't. So I'll leave that there. Let's take a look at the week by week. Now, we're a little bit late doing this because I've been so busy reading on his health, but let's go back to the weeks. Maybe we'll start from the 11th, the week beginning the 11th, which is next week, the 18th and the 25th. So we'll just take 3 cards and then we'll clarify as usual. So, all right, let me orientate myself. Trump over the next 3 weeks for the month of October. Very critical week as we move to a countdown before the election. Trump over the next 3 weeks. Trump over the next 3 weeks. So I'll need week beginning the 11th, week beginning the 18th, and week beginning the 25th. So 3 cards, please, Spirit. Week beginning the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. Thank you. Show me what's coming up for Trump on each of these weeks in October 2020. Okay. Oh, all right. I'm tempted to pull a 4th card. What's at the base of the pack? Okay, so I'm getting the Star. So really, as I said before, keep the vibration high. Don't take your eye off the prize, which is a Biden and Harris victory. So let's clarify. I'll bring the laptop down and you can see what's going on here. So right at the moment, we get the Knight of Pentacles for the week beginning the 11th. There is so much around Trump needing to stay in the game, needing to keep campaigning, needing to bring in those campaign dollars. But this Knight is the slowest of the pack, so you can expect him to be slow in the next week. He's not going to be bouncing back like the tough guy he's making out he's going to be. We get the week beginning the 18th, which is really interesting. Something stalls for Trump. Trump has stopped in his tracks. He's going slowly next week, and then something completely stops for him. I wonder what that is. Is that the Supreme Court nomination? By the time we get to the 25th, we've got our Knight of Truth coming forward. And then the first week in November it's all systems go in relation to the vote. So let's take a look at the week beginning the 11th. I'm using my Waite as the base cards, and I'll use my SpellCasters deck here to clarify. So this Knight of Pentacles, something going very slow, not getting the results that he's wanting, particularly in relation to campaign donations. Show me what this Knight of Pentacles is all about. All right, so we've got the High Priestess. So there is, again, deliberate deception around his health. Secrets are being kept. The High Priestess has no face in this deck. In other decks, she might have her eyes closed, meaning that nobody else can see what this High Priestess is seeing. So the other point of this card is that this is something that could be about to come to fruition. The Page of Wands. Okay, so there will be something we will hear next week. It could be also around some secrets that he is trying to keep. Now, the other aspect of the Knight of Pentacles is that it is my card for the mercenary. And, of course, there is the hired mercenary. Of course, there is plenty of those sorts of people around Trump. But we've got a secret emerging next week, and we're going to hear it. I think it has to do Obviously, this is my card for Trump the businessman. It has to do with Trump himself. Let's keep going. Now, the Queen of Wands. This could it could go to the investigations around his in New York by Letitia James. To me, this is also Kamala Harris as well. So there's something here that's going to emerge next week. Yeah, and we've got the Crossroads card, which is really interesting. So Trump is not bouncing back next week. That's what I'm seeing. We've got some kind of hidden truth or secret, something that others know, and it is documented, that is going to emerge via, I feel, the media. So we've got something breaking that he doesn't want you to know. We've got something breaking next week. Surprise, surprise. It could be a woman that breaks it with this Queen of Wands here. And this is fire sign as well. But we also have the Crossroads card. So there are decisions for him to make next week. One more card. Yeah, the complete and utter downfall of Donald Trump. Needless to say, it's not going to be a good week. Something is going to emerge which will trip him up even further. He's not going to bounce back the way that he thinks he is going to bounce back. The Six of Pentacles and the past. So, you know, this again could be around his financials, and I know that the media have more to release. So it's not good news for him next week, whichever way you want to cut it. His campaign is not going well. He's not going to bounce back, even though he has an air of bravado. He's not going to bounce back as quickly as what he thinks he is, and we're going to hear something else about who he's in debt to. Watch for a woman breaking something or coming forward in some way with information that's going to really trip him up. Okay, so that's next week. And now the following week, it just gets even worse for him. We've got the Hanged Man, something completely stopping week beginning the 18th. Is this to do with the campaign? Is this, you know, the Hangman often comes before the Death card, which of course, you know, can be literal, or it can also mean, you know, we're at the end of this presidency, which is where my feelings are. Despite the fact I think he will be left with some kind of effect post-COVID, whether that's exacerbating an existing illness, or whether this is a side effect or a result of what he's, you know, the treatment or COVID itself. I feel that he's not going to escape that as quickly and as robustly as what he thinks he is. I had that dream for a reason, so we'll see what happens. It could, you know, as I said, be a metaphor for him just not being able to get his message through, but I don't think so. My previous readings have showed that his recovery won't be as quick as what he thinks. So let's have a look what this Hangman is all about. Wow. Okay, whatever emerges in the week beginning the 11th, here she just dropped out, tumbled over my sleeve. Whatever emerges on next week is going to really stop things in their tracks the following week. This is a spillover for what we learn next week, from what we learn next week. So the Hanged Man, you know, there's more to come out about, you know, whether or not he deliberately turned up to that debate with COVID. My feeling is he did. Is that what's coming out, or is it around his financials? Is it around the fact he's not going to bounce back as quickly as what he thought? What is it? Is going to be more deception from his doctors? This is, as I said, a tawdry, gaudy, sad, pathetic, desperate show we're watching. All right, the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man. And I know everyone's over it because I'm over it too. So we're all on the same page. All right, the Hanged Man. Let's see what that Hanged Man is there. The traditional meaning of the Hanged Man. Is it something has to be stopped. Something has to be suspended. And why? Because we are almost forced, the universe is almost forcing us to look at something a different way. There's a very big karmic lesson in the Hanged Man. All right, let's see what it is, the Hanged Man. You know, some of you I can hear you saying, oh, will the election be stopped? No. I've not read anything or seen anything in my cards that would indicate the election would be stopped. So please, I can hear your fears. It's okay. It's going to be okay. You've been gaslit to the point where you can't be gaslit anymore. Keep your vision high. Keep your eye on the your North Star, which is your change of government and a relief and an end to this pathetic chapter. All right, so the Hanged Man. Let's see what the Hanged Man is here for. Let's see if I can't pick up anything. The Hanged Man. Could be he's incapacitated physically. All right, show me this Hanged Man. Yeah, Four of Swords. That points to retreat, but it also points to illness as well. That's my card that's been coming up for him. And the Six of Cups, something that has occurred in the past. So this could be physically incapacitated, which is my feeling, stopped, you know, things come to a halt. Could also be the past catching up with him. We've got the Knight of Wands, so it could be his campaign, you know, really can't get that start again. The Knight of Wands is to do with your actual vote in November. It's always my card for the Democrats coming surging ahead. Okay, so here we have our Death card. As I said, you know, let me bring the laptop down. As I said, that this can be, and I don't even know why I mentioned the Death card at the beginning of the reading, other than to say that this points to the actual absolute ending. So this would be the ending of something. So we have the Hangman, which of course is number 12. It precedes the Death card, which is number 13. So something comes to a stop and then something ends. Okay, and I've also got the Four of Swords card. So that second week beginning the 18th, doesn't look good for Trump, whichever way you want to cut it. And we've got people coming together, trying to work together to contribute to something. We've got strength and endurance. So whatever happens with Trump, it's okay. Things will continue. People will rally. But, you know, there's definitely a downfall for him. You know, he's defending himself. He's trying to stand his ground, but he's becoming increasingly isolated with this Hermit. Here he has one pentacle, so, you know, it's relentless. It's not going to end well for Trump, regardless whether it's metaphorically. You know, something else is revealed, but his health is a real predicament on the 18th. Week beginning the 18th. I have the Death card, the Four of Swords, and the Hanged Man. Not good cards. And the Ten of Swords. Did I mention the Ten? I think his health is failing him. I can say his health is failing him during that week. All right, so let's now look at the Knight of Swords. This is the harsh truth. Remembering there is deliberate deception around the extent of his health, or around his health generally, and his medical personnel at Walter Reed, and his, you know, staff at the White House, everyone involved is failing the American people by not telling them the truth about his condition. Now we get to the last week. This is week beginning the 25th. All right. Week beginning the 25th. This is signifying, because this is your first week in November, the election proceeds. We've got movement. This is one of the Knight and the Knight of Wands are the quickest knights in the pack. So your election's going ahead. I can hear your fears. All right. So show me the Knight of Swords. We've got a truth emerging. It's galloping toward us in the last week of October. What is this Knight of Swords? What is this Knight of Swords? Show me. Something wanted to come out. We've got the Chariot. Events unfolding extremely quickly. Things getting a bit out of control. Show me this Knight of Swords. Show me this Knight of Swords. Okay, the King of Wands. We're going to look to the Congress for leadership here. This is people having to step forward. And we've also got Biden as well. So I feel that, all of this, and this is the fantastic thing here, in all of these cards, whether they are literal or whether they are metaphors for, the general conditions, Biden keeps showing up as having that win. So people ask me, when I say December, what I mean by December. Yes, you're going to vote in November, even if there is some delay around the results. By December, we are moving into healing territory. We've got the Temperance card. So one more. Yeah, the Page of Pentacles. So, things aren't going to be solved as soon as you get a new leader in the US. There's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done. But it's a start. It's a start. So by that third week, we've got things moving forward very, very quickly. And the Congress is acting on something in some way. Biden is still in the frame and he gets the Temperance card, which actually is a good omen for Biden's campaign in that last week of October. But something is emerging in that final week, a harsh truth or a truth of something where Congress actually has to step up in some way. All right, so that's Trump in October. Make of it what you will. They are the cards that I'm pulling. But I want to look at what's at the base of the pack to all of this. All of this. We have the star. We have the star keeping your hope up, bringing balance into a situation. This is followed by Biden. Joe Biden's turning up twice. So he's figuring very strongly in everything. And we've got miracles and breakthroughs. So we also have the Queen of Wands again. So again, pointing to the extent that Biden leads Trump's campaign. And we also have the 10 of Cups, the voters. And we've got this Page of Pentacles again, bringing us, comfort that we are moving, we're closing down an older cycle, we're coming into something new. Now, I think to summarise there, I think that there's more coming out in relation to Trump's financials. There's more to come on that. There is also a lot of deception around his health. That's showing again. We're just not getting the truth. But that last week in October, he really, really falls spectacularly as a result of what's coming out next week or a secret being revealed, but also his health. He falls spectacularly. Those cards tell me, whichever way you cut it, it looks like that last week is sort of like the end of his presidency in some way. And of course then that second last week, and then Congress has to step up in some way. So it's not easy times. And I probably should just draw a card from Spirit to just keep the spirits up in some way, because I do feel that when you're vibrating at that really low, you're feeling really low, sometimes we just forget to look up, and when we look up we can gain a whole new perspective, the burdens lift, and we start to have hope again. So keep your hope alive. Keep your intentions and your manifestations positive, optimistic. It's tough, but it will be okay. So show me 3 messages for my viewers who are feeling pretty beaten up by now, after almost 4 years of this terrible wake-up call. This is not how we want things to be. And if we don't want that, we need to bring in change, and that's what we're doing. So 3 messages from Spirit, please. This is the Muse Tarot. 3 messages from Spirit. Okay, so we have the Devil, understanding that there is a toxicity at the moment. We are right in the middle of this toxic soup, you know, but there is also an aspect of fire behind this devil here, as though something is cleansing, something is being burnt away. All right, then we have the Ten of Wands, understanding, of course, that that everybody's feeling fairly burnt out. It's like we need nourishment. There is this fire energy that I'm seeing in these cards. But we have the Sun card coming through here, three cards. We also have at the base of the pack the Six of Swords, moving out of troubled waters. And if I went one further, we've got the Knight of Swords. So there is truth coming through here. And we might not think that truth wins out, but it's always been my experience. It does. But in the meantime, we have all this, I guess, these lessons to learn, this cleansing that needs to occur. But it looks like we're doing that. We're burning this away, and we're in the process creating something new. So I have ultimately, my last card is the Sun. You can't get stronger, brighter, more illuminating after the devil energy than the Sun. It is the pinnacle of what we want. We want happiness. In the tarot, it means happiness. So cleansing away the old, deciding what we want in the future, and moving toward it brightly and strongly. Okay, so I'll leave that there. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.